This is Bartolome Tomic with Offshore Engineer TV, here today with Adam Ford and Damian Brown of Harvest Technology Group to discuss the company's offer in enabling remote operations. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
Thank you.
Harvest Technology Group is a relatively new name in the offshore maritime and subsea sectors. To start us off, please provide a background on the company and its creation, as well as a by the numbers look at the company today using the metrics of your choice.
Yeah, sure. So I suppose although Harvest is a fairly new company, just founded in sort of, 2018, 2019, many of the Harvest team began their careers in the offshore and maritime sectors. And Harvest core technology was actually born from solving a specific set of problems to enable operational transformation within these sectors. So I suppose back in 2018, we sort of set out with a mission to make remote operations possible with a longer term view of enabling the path towards robotics and autonomy. Here in 2023, we're proud to support the majority of tier one service providers within the IMR space. We've recently joined Inmarsat Maritime's initiative as a certified application provider. So that's giving us access up to approximately 45,000 marine vessels with limited connectivity out there. So a huge access to market. We've also expanded our partner network to support some global growth, including AST Group and also recently Shamal Technologies in Saudi Arabia. Over the past year, we've invested close to $5 million in research and development alone, notwithstanding just conventional product improvement. And recently been awarded the Young Emerging Talent Award for the Australian Subsea Business Awards. And as of June of this year, of 2023, our year-on-year financial growth is or revenue rather is up around 42%. So yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's been fun.
Great, thank you, Damian. Harvest Technology serves many markets. How big is the maritime and offshore energy piece of your business today? And looking ahead 5 years, what is its potential for growth?
Yeah, thank you. So in answer to the first part, as of June this year, the maritime sector made up approximately 10%. The offshore services were 36%, and the energy was approximately 35% of our business in terms of revenue. Looking at these numbers from a growth perspective, 12 months earlier in June 2022, maritime only made up 1% of our revenue, which is now obviously 10%. The growth in the maritime sector can largely be attributed to our strategic plan, which we're about halfway through implementation at the moment. And we'll see us continue to diversify our target markets, including defence and uncrewed assets across marine, land, and in the air as well. Our clients and partners tell us that they want to improve their connectivity in these remote environments. They want to reduce the need for people working in hazardous and remote locations, improving crew well-being by giving back more time with their families, reducing the environmental impact and improving their overall operational efficiencies. And they want Harvest to help in that move. So when considering this, we see no reason why the current momentum won't continue into the future.
Thank you, Adam. Anyone watching or reading this knows the challenges of inspection offshore and subsea, but can you give an overview of the typical means that offshore and subsea inspections are conducted today, with insights of how Harvest Technology enables remote inspection and makes it more efficient process?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose conventionally, offshore inspection has been carried out locally at site by nature. The people doing the inspection have had to be located or situated at site, at the job site, in order to acquire the data. Under that sort of conventional process, data would be acquired, sort of reviewed, QA'd, and then sort of packaged for subsequent delivery onshore. And this can sometimes be months after the data was acquired. with the incorporation of Harvest node stream technology, it allows more direct acquisition and recording of asset integrity related data that can be delivered directly into a client's database. So thus allowing a really reactive workflow as opposed to this sort of retrospective workflow that's historically only been the only option, you know. So it's really a big shift in what's possible, and with that you get a lot of efficiency gains and a lot better decision making, and you're able to react a lot quicker also. So it's a pretty interesting space at the moment.
You mentioned node stream technology. So let's take a deep dive into your proprietary node stream technology. What exactly is it, and how is it differentiated from the myriad of digital solutions flooding the maritime and offshore sectors, all with the same promise of improving connectivity, stability, and speed while helping operators be more efficient and cost effective?
Yeah, look, this is a great question. Ultimately, it's Harvest's proprietary protocol, which differentiates us from others operating in this market. Our typical offshore client networks are dependent on satellite connections in remote locations where the communications are rightly considered critical. However, due to physical, technical, and operational constraints, these networks are often plagued with errors such as high latency, jitter, packet loss, and often limited in bandwidth from the beginning. For that reason, Harvest products are designed to be industry and network agnostic, and gives users the ability to tune settings and attributes on the fly to account for the changing network conditions, and dependent on their operational requirements, such as prioritizing resolution and frame rate over latency. Obviously, we are continuously monitoring and improving the capability and efficiency of the protocol to maintain our lead in connection stability and security. And we measure these gains internally using advanced network simulation, where we test our system against others, giving us the confidence we're able to deliver the best achievable outcome to our clients.
I have another question that sort of leans on what you said. So without giving away trade secrets, what is the secret sauce of the node stream technology? How can Harvest Technology Group move masses of data and communication more efficiently, more cost effectively through common pipelines? Can you give more info into this?
Yeah, sure. But if I told you, it wouldn't any longer be the secret, you know. But I suppose, look, it's difficult to speak to it specifically without divulging sort of detail around our intellectual property. However, touching back on what Adam was just saying, it really revolves around our proprietary transmission protocol. So we've developed this 100% in-house to solve a very specific set of problems, and basically enable transaction of video, audio, and data over networks where historically it would have just previously been completely impossible. So it really does revolve and center around our protocol, which is continually, you know, always evolving. We're always developing it. We're always making it smarter and better as communications networks adapt, and we're able to send more information over it. We've got wider bandwidths. We're doing more and more smarter things and offering better solutions to clients. But above everything else, I think the real secret sauce has to be the team. We're blessed with an amazing base of core personnel, with really a group of great minds working together, that fundamentally believe in the mission and the difference that we're making. So I mean, it always comes down to the people, and we're very fortunate to have some truly great people.
Thank you, Damien. Harvest recently designed a remote inspection system for offshore applications. Can you tell us how it works, who is it for, and why is it unique?
Yeah, sure. I'll try and frame the answer to this one a little bit first. Obviously, the first part of any remote operations journey is assessing the feasibility from the client's perspective. considering which roles could be located from the remote site, as not all of them can be, followed by defining what the objectives of the remote operations journey actually are. When initially considering this from our client's perspective, inspection personnel were selected as the role as their role mostly requires them to look at a monitor on board a vessel, using their skills to identify and report on the assets. So the question was asked, if we could reliably stream the content that an inspection personnel look at offshore, could we enable them to complete the same task onshore? This obviously exposed a number of extremely complex problems, given that satellite connections can be intermittent and unreliable with limited bandwidth. So to better answer the question from there, the remote inspection system was developed to furnish deliverable quality video and the associated metadata, along with clear and reliable audio system over these satellite links or networks, meaning operators could now transform how they work without needing to change the infrastructure they actually work with. The solution itself is unique, it's intuitive, it's functional, but most of all, it's reliable. And being the only system we know of specifically designed to solve the technical problems of remote inspection, and it's optimized to run on the most limited networks and in the most remote locations on the planet.
Thank you, Adam. Can you break down the key elements of the RIS, not IRS? What is the network optimized? What is the network optimized live streaming? Can you discuss the technical specifications of the advantages this remote inspection tech can deliver for an offshore operator? You discussed it somewhat, but can you go into more details?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think fundamentally, as Adam just outlined, the fundamental pillars are sort of delivery, transaction, streaming of multiple streams of video, synchronized data, and this is metadata, typically serial data, and audio communications between work groups, meaning that engineers can complete sort of client deliverables in real time via remote assets that can be half a world away. Another key element in all of this is without question security. So in order to do this, we have to be able to do it securely. And we, as operators, we need to know with confidence and with certainty that our data paths cannot be intercepted or interfered with. So someone can't take control and give us the wrong information. So security is absolutely paramount when we look at this. And then with regard to defining network optimized live streaming, I mean, we can look at that as being able to fit an 8-inch pipe through a 1-inch pipe. Like we're basically doing some very complex maths and using some very innovative technology to take a large amount of data and compress it into a very small sort of amount of surface area, and then transact it as efficiently as possible at the lowest possible latency between point A and point B, where it can be delivered. So it's basically doing more with less is really what we mean by network optimized live streaming.
Thank you. While I know every company, every application is different, can you ballpark how much the technology or your service costs to implement, and what are the anticipated tangible efficiency gains or cost savings? You can pick a scenario of your choosing.
Yeah, thanks. Obviously, with regard to price to begin with, we obviously try to maintain the lowest possible barriers to entry to access our technology. In general, though, when compared to the reduction of operating costs that are realised, which is some of the tangible efficiency gains you refer to, it's extremely affordable and almost insignificant. If we consider larger, more complex solutions, then obviously this will depend on the technology and the time invested to deliver that solution, with different efficiency gains and cost savings that will be realised in time. Obviously, there are many other opportunities which are very difficult to quantify, looking at human gains, environmental gains, and other efficiency metrics that companies are required to at least consider and more than likely are required to report on.
Thank you, Adam. What do you see as the hurdles to jump and make this tech solution mainstream?
Look, again, this is a really important question. And I think by far the biggest hurdle for companies, transitioning to remote operations or sort of implementing this type of technology is change management. So it's really a different way of doing things, and bringing your staff and your team along for the journey, communicating why it's being done and what the benefits are, is really key to this. And managing the change and having it done in a considered manner is really key to navigating it in the right way to achieve the right results. So by far and above, the biggest one is change management. In terms of making this technology mainstream, it's I think that the whole industry, the whole marine industry, through one shape or form or another, is all transitioning towards remote robotics autonomy. So when we say moving to the mainstream, I think this is becoming the mainstream, and I think it's really more a question for operators and people in this space. If there's a means to do something in a more environmentally efficient manner, a more cost-effective manner, and a safer manner for people in general, why would we not adopt it? So I think the real question is more over what is the risk for failing to adopt and adapt as we go through this revolutionary adoption of technology throughout this space is really probably the bigger question.
Thank you, Damien. As we've discussed, there are numerous advantages to remote inspection technologies. Are there any disadvantages? What are they, and how Harvest Technology is investing today to mitigate those?
Yeah, certainly, and sort of leaning on and expanding on what Damo was just talking earlier, we certainly acknowledge there's a myriad of challenges to overcome in implementing remote operations from a client's perspective, and ultimately what they're hoping to achieve by implementing remote operations. Some of their considerations may be the age and specifications of the assets, how to incorporate a remote operations culture, and ultimately managing that change within the company itself. Our technology is as agnostic as possible, meaning it's compatible with many legacy assets, infrastructure, as well as the latest new technology, including many types of unmanned systems as well. Our team as Damien mentioned earlier on in the piece, our team have experience in a number of different industries, and we bring that experience through to manage change required for successful transition to remote operations for new and upcoming clients. And that can be from situational awareness through to remote expert assistance, or to support fully remote operated control centers. Obviously, in a few weeks' time, we'll be holding a webinar to delve more into the challenges and review some of the opportunities. And we're going to hopefully complete this through the eyes of a journey to remote operations.
Thank you, Adam. Dutch offshore survey firm Fugro recently selected the hybrid node stream RIS solution after a trial on a USV. Can you talk about the hybrid solution and the benefits of its use on unmanned surface vehicles?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had two different technology offerings. One was really around remote monitoring and remote situational awareness. That was quite a cost-effective solution. And then we had our premium sort of offering called RIS, or the remote inspection system, that allows users the ability to furnish sort of client deliverables. It's at a slightly different cost point. And I suppose as a user, you perhaps don't need all the bells and whistles when you're transiting, from location A to location B. And then once you get there and you want to start a different mode of operation, then why not have a more pay-as-you-go model? So, one of our leading cornerstone clients, Fugro, sort of brought this problem to us and said that it would be useful for them if they could operate in this way, and we could offer something to them that was perhaps a little bit more dynamic and cost effective. So we went away and brought the two technologies together, and deployed that to great effect. And it's been a very much a win-win story, I think.
Thank you. Your clients also include Ocean Infinity, Technip, FMC, and DOF, all involved in the offshore sector, yet also different. Can you talk about the use cases of your tech when it comes to the three previously mentioned companies, sir?
Yeah, certainly. And hearing the question, we're certainly very fortunate to be working with customers of this higher caliber. However, when we look at it, while their individual use cases may be different from each other and from even some of the smaller clients, the fundamental drivers are basically the same across all our clients. Some of those drivers are removing the personnel from the hazardous environments and allowing them to support multiple projects from onshore locations, so centralising the expertise, operating in a more socially and environmentally conscious manner, and enabling the ability to make fast and accurate decisions through the live streaming technology that our systems bring to market, and ultimately operating in the most cost-effective way. So, whilst the use cases may be different, ultimately the end drivers for the transition to remote operations or companies extending their remote operations journey are ultimately the same.
Thank you, Adam. You've also secured an RIS order in Norway for subsea inspection works. Can you talk about this and provide any specific challenges of providing your service in the subsea environment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I suppose we've got an office in Aberdeen in UK, so just a stone's throw away from Norway. So logistically, not much of a challenge, and we have some really high caliber staff based over there as well. In terms of environment that we're working in, being offshore and subsea, we're very used to this, and we have we operate all over the world in this capacity. So no real challenges there. One thing I will say is it's obviously very exciting to be working in Norway and with the Norwegians. There's some incredible technology that comes from that region, specifically in the oil and gas space. So it gives us a certain amount of, I suppose, validation to be sort of awarded contracts in that area and to be working with some of the best in the subsea industry. But yeah, no challenges as such, and we look forward to some expanded growth throughout the Norwegian sector and North Sea in general.
So I have a follow-up for this one, if I may. The question about the challenges was, I think, more about so do you stream through water, or is it just through cables? So is that, for example, an ROV or AUV? How does that work, if you may?
Yeah, absolutely. So typically all the data acquisition that's coming from subsea, we do some through water acoustic data transfer as well. We've done one project with through water acoustics where we're transferring data wirelessly through water, which was very interesting, using our protocol. That wasn't in Norway though, but traditionally all the work we're doing in Norway is tethered, so it's through ROV umbilicals. So it's very much still the conventional methodology of data acquisition and transfer, the same as we're using in many other places around the world.
Thank you, Damien. you mentioned this briefly a few minutes ago, but can we go a bit more specific? So, as with anything else digital, there's always a question about data safety and security. How do you ensure your clients' data remains secure?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we did touch on this a number of times previously, but you know, I think it is very apt to give this its own question, because you know, security is a primary, if not the primary, consideration throughout the development of our solutions. Our team of you know, stay at the forefront of encryption processes and capabilities. And our current systems, data delivery is end-to-end and secured with 384-bit key length encryption. And ultimately, from a client's perspective, their connections themselves are managed between their end devices, so they can select the origin and the destination of the videos, or the connection of the audio and the data delivery, and make and break that connection, and be sure that the data is being delivered from directly from end to end, with only device settings being communicated with the rendezvous server, in order to configure that stream for the most efficient delivery over the available network.
Thank you very much. If I may ask another one, just popped in my head. So the cameras, do you suggest your clients where to install them? Do you provide them? Do you advise on the capabilities of those cameras that pick up, that record live streams, or do you just provide the means of transferring the data more efficiently? And yeah.
Yeah, look,
I can
ultimately oh, sorry, you go, Damo.
no, go ahead, Ads, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, look, ultimately our systems are, as we sort of touched on earlier, is asset agnostic. So as long as a video stream can come in, and that can be through any means of, whether it be RTSP stream, whether it be HDMI, SDI, any interface, we can capture that video and bring it into our system and stream it from end to end. We do have a camera control system as well that can be used to control cameras. However, it's not part of the core offering, and ultimately we wanted to make sure that our products were available to connect to any video and data streams, or the most amount of video and data streams possible, to increase the use case potential.